much. Our show, Money Means Business. As you always say, business means money. Stability and business mean a lot of money. I'm Nermin Nazim, broadcasting live from Cairo, the microcosm of the whole universe. Lots of decisions have been taking place by the government in order to rectify the economic situation. Time to build a new Egypt after it hit rock bottom during the 25th of January 2011. Recently, a government decision taken earlier in the week to exempt imported frozen poultry from taxes and custom duty has caused an uproar among local poultry producers who are demanding it to be cancelled. Earlier this week, Prime Minister Sharif Ismail issued a decision to exempt frozen poultry from import tax and duties for the period from the 10th of November 2016 to 31st of May 2017. The decision was published in the main official gazette on Monday, but local poultry makers have insisted that the decision could harm a successful industry. According to Abdelaziz Said, the head of poultry division at Cairo Chamber of said to Al-Ahram online that according to him, the poultry industry in Egypt covers nearly 90% of the market's needs. He believes the new decision will harm the current industry. The Egyptian government defends itself from the decision and says that it is actually protecting citizens from the poultry price increases, and at the same time it won't harm local industry. They say the competition will be in favor of the local industry producers as the prices of imported poultry will increase as the dollar price in Egypt increases. The cabinet spokesman Ashraf Sultan said in media statements commenting on the decision. This and a lot more that we'll just find out in this session of Money Means Business. And we have with us Dr. Fouad Abu State, Professor of Political Economy at Harwan University. Welcome with us, sir, here.
It's my pleasure.
And also we do have Dr. Said Al-Khouli, Vice Dean for Graduate Studies and Research School of Business, Ain Shams University. Welcome, sir, here with us. And we're coming back in a moment. Stay tuned to us. Don't go away. Back again to Money Means Business, and our guests are Dr. Said Al-Khouli, Vice Dean for Graduate Studies and Research School of Business, Ain Shams University. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you.
And Dr. Fouad Abu State, Professor of Political Economy at Harwan University, and welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Again. As we always thought, how do we assess the government, week by week? We just do assessment for the government, any new decisions taken, any kind of achievements, any kind of problems rising. How do you see the situation?
Well, I think Egypt has made a lot of progress in several dimensions, in economics, political and social fronts. But still also Egypt is facing a lot of challenges in several also dimensions. President Sisi now heading the diplomat visit to United Arab Emirates, which is opening another avenues for cooperation between the two countries. They have a very strong tie between Egypt and United Arab Emirates. And also a lot of fronts and political fronts in several countries. Egypt needs to open her hands to everybody. Yeah. And share the cooperations in economics and political fronts. Also, the country also now in a stage that to encourage a lot of foreign investments needed to the country. This will not happen unless Egypt also do some marketing to the economic and political conditions, stability in Egypt. I think the room for Egypt now for improvements, it has a lot of good potential, and also we are looking up to this to happen while waiting for the investment law to come to the light.
Yes.
And also to see what's the component of it after be represented to the parliament and then parliament vote on it. I think also in the discussion we'll shed lights to several important issues. As you mentioned, also the government now taking a decision about the poultry exemptions, and also this is also another actions done by the government. Also, I heard the minister of planning is now doing a fund for $5 billion, and also will include to support the small and medium enterprises. So a lot of activities has been done in the last 2 weeks, if I keep memorizing it.
Dr. Said Al-Khouli, how do you see overall the government and what's going on nowadays?
Overall, we face, of course, during this period of time, we face a tough time. But it's not the first time we face a very tough time. We faced a tough time before, and we got through it with the change of the exchange rate, which we getting a lot of inflation in many different segments of life, and the people they start to feel it. But if we talk about evaluation in the short term, that is not a good indicator. But if we look for it in the long term, we should be optimistic. There is many projects have been done. There is a lot of change in the world arena. For example, no more Democrat or no more Obama policy for the status quo, and dealing with the area as we can see the Arab Spring and all of that. This will change with Trump come to power in January. And of course, Trump effect will go through Europe, and that it will have a significant effect in a positive way for Egypt. And we should really take this opportunity to expand our relation with the West, especially United States, in order to clear up the picture for Egypt, which it wasn't that good during Obama regime. Now we're going through a new regime for the United States, and there is many changes happen in Europe, in England, for example, and in many other places. You will see a lot of change in Europe. So that it brings the role of government, where they have to build a strategy for how to deal with these changes. It's very important to prepare ourselves for the future. Definitely. And to build bridges between us and Europe and the States in order to revolve and improve our economic situation. In the local level, we should work harder and harder. We should create a new idea for industry, for agriculture, for tourism, to attract more people to the economical system. So the more we reduce the budget deficit, the more the exchange rate will go down. China, for example, they benefit from lowering their currency in order to compete. So we have to work hard on that in order to improve our industry, in order to build a competitive edge for our industry for export, and this way we reduce the deficit, and when you reduce it, the inflation rate will go down and will be in the right track, inshallah.
Yes, talking about political economy now, and our relationship, Egypt is not alone with the whole world. How do you see, as Dr. Al-Khouli said, about the changes in the world there, they have to do with Egypt, and how does Egypt have to act, in order to bring a fresh, its fresh picture. And one question also, sir, Egypt's image, was it Egypt that's responsible for that, or Obama's administration?
I believe the whole democratic system was really the status quo, keep things like that, and their structure when it comes to Egypt, it's totally failed.
Yeah.
That is like 8 years ago when they started to do that. Egypt is Egypt. Egypt will stand as is because we have a very strong culture behind our back, number one. Number two, we are a strong country by its people. And that's why we are not Libya, we are not Iraq, we are not Syria, we are not Yemen. And Egypt will be Egypt, and will overcome this hard time and will do better in the future, inshallah.
Yes, inshallah. And sir, again, the question is overall, how...
Well, I think I agree with Professor about what he mentioned, that we are now taking a new track. And also, if you're looking over the globe, you find the trend now to the rightist,
yes,
to the Republican,
yes,
for instance, views. Trump also coming with a different view, different activities. He come from away from different political arena. He's not been melted on the political system. He's a businessman. He was trying to bring his businessman idea to work on the government. It remains to be seen how successful he will be. But I think he met with the President Sisi when he was visiting the UN, and they have a talk there, and think they share ideas. Me personally, I would prefer Trump over Clinton for different reasons. She's been with the system, been grown with the system, and been the foreign secretary of Obama, and also has been looking at and supported the ex-regime on Egypt, which caused a lot of trouble to the Egypt and to Egyptian economy. Nonetheless, I think Egypt has a firm stand. Nobody interfere in our business and should not interfere with other people's business. I think this is a fair stand. And also we should work on this. I think we should build our strong political economy. We build it on two strong economics and political system. The political system is now growing, being mature, and also teaching the people how to exchange ideas, respect the opinion of the others. This is a real democracy, by the way. And also, this is also new to us. And also, we need to build on that. We need a long way to build on it, but we are on that track. And also, this is also interrelated to the economic activities. Because political and economics also work hand in hand with each other. Again, Egypt need to put more attention to the domestic activity, build a strong economy, because the more stronger the economy, the more ability to communicate strongly with other countries, the more ability to exchange their goods and services, and also more ability to create jobs, and also more ability to finance the social activities. When you've been bringing the poverty level above what we have now, which is almost 40%, now also democracy also will be enhanced, activity will also be being supported. Like also Professor Khoury mentioned, that Egypt is facing a lot of challenges concerning the economics, particularly in the exchange rate. I think the idea of the exchange rate is to make it floating, and also will be subject to supply and demand. This also needs time to be adjusted, and also need a lot of work from the banking, from people to attract the foreign capital from the Egyptian remittances. And what's even more important now, its impact on the stock market. Stock market has been now booming, is increasing so strongly, and also this is an outcome of it. The impact of the floating exchange rates, it remains to be seen. It also depends on how successfully the banks work on it.
Okay. Sir, you know, or taking care of the domestic needs here, education, we just put so many lines, underline it, you know, so many lines under it. How do you see the importance of that, and what can we do here to overhaul the educational system?
I believe education, it should be #1 priority. Without education, in all different level, you cannot have a real development. Because whatever you are doing, it will be wasted if you don't have a very strong educational system.
Yes.
And when we say about education, we should look for the market needs. As my colleague mentioned, in order to reduce the deficit, we have to work. And it should be with the new knowledge, with the new technology. And if we don't look for the market needs and integrate it in our educational system, so whatever you are doing in educational system, which it doesn't match the market needs and the global market needs, it is not going to be, it's going to be inefficient. So it's a very important issue, education, and I believe it's #1 priority. We have illiteracy rate, we have education which doesn't really accomplish their objective, and even with the Egypt Vision 2030, we should really focus on action plan in order to improve our educational system in all different levels. We should really focus on education and research at the same time.
Yes.
Without research and no creativity in our educational system. And I believe when President Sisi met the youth, he focused on education in their meeting last month, and to meet with them every month, we should really take education in a very serious way. We should integrate education, creativity, know-how, and if we cannot do it in our educational system, let's get the help from outside. Let's have joint agreement with universities from United Kingdom, for example, from Europe.
But you're doing that in universities. You do joint, and many universities are doing that now.
Absolutely. For myself, for example, we got now in Anchamps, in the School of Business, we have a dual degree, one from the state's governmental institution in the States and one from School of Business at Anchamps University, which we have it like in a pilot way.
Yeah.
When you have this kind of certificate, you are not just issuing a certificate. You're sharing knowledge, you're sharing database, you're sharing faculty, you're sharing research. And this enhances the ability of our professor, our teacher in Egypt. Without that, we can't really. So in order to really compete in the global market, language is very important, math is very important, science is very important, and all of these we should really focus in our educational system. Also, as I mentioned, in order to get over the crisis we have right now, if we talk about education, we can have joint venture in order to attract foreign direct investment. And the more you get joint venture and strategic alliance with international organizations, will go ahead in our system. Also, we have opportunities. With the, as my colleague mentioned, when Trump come to power, he's a businessman mentality.
Exactly.
So you will run the states as a business.
Yeah, he needs to like gain, actually not to lose. So.
And
is this well, you know, he'll consider, I think, politically speaking, economically speaking, the losses or what he wins? I think, is it a good approach, or how do you see this approach?
He will focus internally in the United States. He will be less concerned about the international, for example, ISIS. He will demolish ISIS within the first 6 months in his regime, because that is it's made by Obama administration.
Yes.
So he will get over that, and then Egypt will have opportunity for rebuilding Iraq, for rebuilding Libya, for rebuilding Syria, and we should really start from now to focus on that for this business opportunity in that region. And of course, when we rebuild, it means more people will be employed, less inflation will get in the future, and I believe the future is promising, but we have to be patient.
And we have to work.
That's very important.
Some people are not working, actually. This is going to work. Yes. So the idea also of running a country and like a business, just, well, staying away from losses, or just, he is a businessman. He needs to win. He doesn't want losses. This is, how he just looks at things. How do you see that?
Well, by the way, the political system in the United States, it's a very complicated system. And the decisions go through a lot of process till being approved.
Yes.
The Senate and then the Congress and then among other things. And also the political think tank there is also play an important role. Also the supporter and the financier of his campaign also to have a say. But if you look at what he said in the campaign, this also, he looks at the trade relationship between the NAFTA, for instance. He talking about the political issues with Egypt, with the Middle East. He also mentioned the relationship with China, with Far East. It's very complicated. I think it's remains to be seen. And even if you look at his cabinet and the people that he selected, then you can get a view. This is very conservative administrative. It's look like Bush. Even it's not even more conservative than Bush. But whatever it comes, I think we have our stand and we have our issues, and it's clear to us what we need, and what we need is only to attract the foreign investment, particularly the American investment. If they want to come on that ground, they are more than welcome. I think we need to provide them with the appropriate opportunities and the environment. But let me go and just comment on what my colleagues have mentioned about the education system.
Definitely.
And this is the backbone of any society.
Of course.
And I think the problem with the education system in Egypt, in my personal opinion, is free education. It's free education. This might make people upset with me, but I think.
But many people just take your stand, actually.
Not
everybody's upset.
If you look at it, the government spend a tremendous amount of money on education.
And then some, get out
and
not even educated.
If you do a kind of simple visibility studies, it's zilch.
Yes.
I mean, people don't gain anything from the education unless you make people in the United States, in any country in the world, after the secondary school, people pay for the education.
Sure.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, now even the Egyptians, if you look at the Egyptians and look at the percentage of income they spend on private lesson and education, is more than 30 to 45% out of their income. If they pay this money to support the schools that their children go.
The education system itself.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then also the government has a lot of things. The curriculum itself needs to be updated.
Yes.
Also the training for the professors and also the equipment. I mean, now even if you look at it, and what we produce to the world, it's a bit less competitive. I mean, look at now the Egyptian laborers who work in the Gulf countries.
Yes.
Compared to those graduated from Sudan, from India. It's less competitive to the other countries. This is due to I mean, by the way, we have the best professors around the globe. If you look at any country, in Canada, in the United States, in Germany, in UK, most of the country are Egyptian pioneers being in the staff of various universities. So we don't blame our professors, but we blame the environment that they are working on it. I think all of us as the professors at the universities, we are very proud to be part of it, but also we need to improve it. We need to be, I mean, look at competitive way. We like my colleague mentioned, we need to see what the market needs and provide the students with the talent and the skill they need. Yes. I mean, if we can able to do such so, then we'll make a better education for understanding. Is tell the student how to think, not what to think. If we come to that paragraph, how to think, then this is the issue will get improved on that. I mean, if we ask ourselves why we sent our daughter and son to the foreign
establishments, yes.
Because of that.
Well, I remember a story told me about one of the young diplomats that when they were at the institute, one of the diplomats that were teaching them, when one of the students or the young diplomat said, "I think," he said, "Who are you to think?" Which is devastating when you're entitled to your own thoughts and you're building a country with your own thoughts, and then you're even forbidden from thinking by just an exclamation like that or just a comment like this. Yeah.
I mean when we have our degree from the United States, I mean the simple word education, I mean knowledge is virtue. I mean everybody entitled to the knowledge, but you have to work for it. I mean nobody give you a spoon-feeding education.
Absolutely.
We don't give a spoon-feeding education. This is our problem.
Yes.
I mean even the parents now say spoon-feeding education. No, let the students think. Once you motivate him or her to think, then you make the right progress there. I mean, this is the whole issue.
Yes. So, what are the...
And that's the issue right now. It's open learning environment. And when I mentioned we have to align ourselves with the global environment, American, European, Asian, and so on, university, that is the key issue for exchange idea, for exchange research jointly. That will improve the self and update the system itself. Let me go for the issue of free education. When it's a constitution, of course, it's okay for even in the states which is the biggest economy in the world, the free education up to high school. After high school, when you go to university, you have to pay for education.
Of course.
But I'm not going to get into constitutional debate, but if we have a system of reward-based system, whenever we're in university and flunk a year or 2 or 3 and stay in the system for free, that's unfair for the system. That's one thing.
And for the taxpayers, actually.
Absolutely. And our budget, it doesn't really can handle that anymore. And after that, the graduate level for master and PhD and so on, it's also free.
Yeah.
And when you talk about increasing the tuition, it's a disaster. But let me talk about graduate, where master degree and PhD and so on, make it affordable for the people who gain higher grade point average, he can get it free, but not for everybody.
Yeah.
Let's develop the system of research grant and so on. Let's integrate in the educational system with industry base, so it will be educational industrial base with all different industry and service industry at the same time. That is the creative way for looking for education. I was involved about 3 years ago in a project with European country, with 3 European countries, United Kingdom, Greece, and France, and Germany. It was 4 countries where we were talking leadership in higher education management. I believe a change comes from the top and from the lower level.
Yes.
We have to really, for the people who run the educational system, we have to take a good look at that again for hiring who lead the educational system in all different stages. That's very important. So management is very important for educational systems. It is not just education, but how to manage your educational system. It is a very essential. How to build skills for the people who are managing the educational system. I always believe in win-win situation. The government will win, and the public will win, and the system will be improved in the future. But the way we run it right now, it doesn't. Whenever who comes with, we say we have the best. What's your rank?
Exactly.
Now there is a global competitiveness index. They publish a report in every year where we stand from that index, and you have to give me a definite answer. If you are one of a kind, you should be in the top.
So definitely.
10,
Well, let
top
me ask
20.
you, how many stagnant mines are there? Let's say, corruption, and stagnant mines that are there that are just facing any kind of overhauling and modernization, and they're just trying to pull us back instead of going in front because they like the situation as is. It's not the win-win situation. They are winning, but the state is losing, and education is losing. People are losing, but then stagnant mines are there. They want things the status quo, not to change. How do you see that?
The key word is exceptional leader. We should really get exceptional leader in healthcare. We should get exceptional leader in education. We have to get exceptional leader in all different sectors in Egypt.
Which means we're just going to remove all the stagnant heads and just put the new ones.
No, I didn't say that.
So what's wrong with that? Even if you remove it, so what's wrong with that?
I didn't say that, but we have to look really very serious because the time ahead of us, we need to change. Of course, there is a resistance to change with the conventional way of thinking.
Yes.
Not to improve, nor to keep it the same as is, and so on. Change needs the forces of change, and it needs a leadership who they are able to make this change reality. It's very essential.
Yes. And sir, again, how do you see it with resistance?
I think the issue here, to me, is how you implement the law.
Okay.
If you put the law in force,
the law should be changed. There should be changes. We have it, but we don't implement it.
We have a tremendous size of law,
but they're not implemented. Yes. Okay.
I mean, who gives this person a right to have a free education, even at the PhD level? Given the institution's activities, with a due respect, I mean, we are in a condition that we are not able to bear the burden of it. The burden is a bit heavy. Also, the issue, if we allow the student to pay for their education, we can save some money and also provide them with adequate health support.
Yes.
We provide them with adequate infrastructure. We provide them with other security support. It's always a trade-off what the country vision is. By the way, this country is built on people, and no one can do it by yourself. Even President Sisi by himself can't do it by himself.
Yes.
We all have to work. And also we have a tremendous part of activity here to have. I mean, we all live in this country. We all share this country. And if this country is improved, going to improve by us. And if, God forbid, not, then we're going to be the cause. For that reason, I think, to me, a constitution is there, law is there, but have to be implemented. And also we need to have a vision. We have the 2030 vision.
Yeah.
Did you hear about it before? Yes, you did. Do you know what's it?
No.
I don't. I mean, come on. I mean, we need to have it in public, discuss it with the people in the area, education or health.
It could be amended, you know,
exactly,
just improve it.
And then collect the view of others.
Yeah.
This will enhance the support, because any action by government by itself will not succeed unless you have the people support it.
Definitely.
I mean now people bear the burden of high prices. Why? Because they believe that the tomorrow will
be better. Definitely, yeah.
And then we, I mean, all of us, even if the price is high, we say, okay, we have to survive.
Yes.
And then this will come to the end. But we need to know. We need to share.
Transparency.
And collectivity.
Okay. Vision. Okay, one last word, because, you know, we are just running out of time. Vision, and then, you know, like transparency, of course, to let the people know and get...
Hard work.
Okay.
Working together.
Yes.
Total participation.
Okay.
For all the different people in order to improve all sectors in Egypt.
Okay.
But number one, long-term vision, roadmap for the new Egypt in order to gain whatever opportunity it will be available in the future.
And then showing us the 2030 vision in order to be discussed by everybody.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think vision is important.
Yes.
But vision has to be also implemented.
Yes.
We should not have vision in dream. I mean, we need to dream.
Plan, exactly. You know, we're dreaming is like we should, you know, what's going on.
We have a dream.
Yes.
Then what's the dream?
Okay, you know, we're not going to be dreaming all the time, you know, like daydreamers.
Yeah, exactly. We have to come to earth and then try to act,
yes.
And act and work.
Yes.
And then and law has to be implemented and put on forth.
Yes.
Once we are able to do so, then we come to the first step in the right direction.
Dr. Fouad, I would say thank you very much for being with us. And Dr. Sayyid Khoury, thank you very much for being with us. We are Egypt, and we just got to be with us, you know, and then we're going to be acting, you know, not only dreaming and acting, you know, making dreams come true. So dreams come true. They will come true if we act. On this note, I'd like to leave you and say God bless our Egypt, God bless our Egyptian people, God bless our Egyptian army, and God bless our president. I'm leaving you with the latest in the stock market. I'm Nermeen Azim signing off. Goodbye for now. See you again next week.
The Egyptian government studies compensating the contractors for the losses they may incur due to the recent increases in the prices of the raw materials. Egypt witnessed recently a remarkable hike in the prices of the raw materials, services and fuel following the Central Bank of Egypt decision to liberalize the Egyptian pound against the US dollar. Minister of Planning Ashraf Al-Arabi said the government will start payment of compensations upon the ministerial committee finishes the needed studies. The Egyptian exchange is likely to deliver a volatile performance. Analysts said that the trading trend will be determined when the benchmark index breaks below or above 11,175 points. Market analysts added that the benchmark is likely to move upwardly if holding above 11,175 points. Otherwise, the jittery performance is likely to continue within the wide price channel extending from 3,375 points to 12,046 points. Trade researchers said that decline on average volumes compared to the previous strong figures points to a correction against the prevailing uptrend, corrections either sideways or opposite to the primary trend. Egypt will pay the dues of the foreign companies in oil and gas sectors in 3 years. Amr al-Garhi, Minister of Finance, said that Egypt is keen on paying all its obligations for the outer world to keep these partners to inject new investments in the sector that has enormous opportunities for growth in the coming period. Foreign companies' dues reached $3.6 billion by the end of September 2016. The deposits at the Egyptian banks have grown by 20% year-on-year in August 2016. The total value of the deposits have reached 2,172 trillion by the end of August 2016, compared with 1,000.809 trillion Egyptian pounds at the end of the same month the previous year. The governmental deposits have stood at 369.9 billion Egyptian pounds, while the non-governmental deposits recorded 1.8 trillion Egyptian pounds. The World Travel and Tourism Council and the World Tourism Organization called on the UK government to lift the current ban on UK-based airlines flying to Sharm el-Sheikh. Egyptian authorities have taken significant steps to raise security level in airports as well as the surrounding areas. The council adding that these steps prompted other countries, including Germany and Russia, to allow their airlines to start flying to Egypt once again. Travel and tourism is vital to Egypt's economy and social peace, contributing 11% of the country's GDP and 2.6 million in jobs in 2015. Global Telecom completed selling its subsidiary Telecel International to Zarnet in Zimbabwe at $40 million. Zarnet is a fully state-owned company through the Ministry of Information Communication Technology and provide internet service and ICT solutions for companies, institutions, and other entities in Zimbabwe. Telecom Egypt fully owns Telecel International that holds a 60% stake in Telecel Zimbabwe. The stock quote increased by 2.04% to 6.01 Egyptian pounds. This is certainly the best present traders could have for Christmas, a supply cut from OPEC. The cartel has shown a united front, and this is what matters the most. The unofficial word out of Vienna, where OPEC members are meeting, is that an agreement with a bigger than expected cut has been forged. This will support oil prices in the longer term, but the element which is going to increase the price of oil even further in the coming days is GDP growth around the globe. Higher oil prices will also make room for more rigs to go live, and it's something which traders need to be mindful of. With an OPEC production cut deal in place, the new norm for crude prices could be between $50 and $60 going forward. The global economy has been chugging along in low gear for the last few years, but the prospect of a big boost in government spending that's prompted the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, a Paris-based think tank, to raise its global economic forecast on Tuesday. The most recent signs that the U.S. economy is gaining strength came from the largest government data, which showed that growth was faster than initially thought in the third quarter. The Commerce Department boosted its estimate of third quarter gross domestic product to a 3.2% annual rate, up from the previous estimates of 2.9%. Brazil's currency and stocks fell on concern that fiscal reforms could be derailed by a potential investigation into whether President Michel Temer pressured an ex-minister to allegedly favor a cabinet colleague's property investment. Brazil's main stock market index, the Bovespa, fell 1.3% before cutting losses to trade 0.2% lower. British companies brushed off the uncertainty over Brexit in the 3 months after June's referendum and increased their investment, helping to drive solid growth in the economy. Business investment expanded at the quarterly rate of 0.9% in the 3 months to September. Britain's economy overall grew by 0.5% in the third quarter. Britain's economy has performed much better than most economists had expected in the immediate aftermath of June's vote to leave the European Union. Gold prices saw a slide as the U.S. dollar index moved up amid speculations over a hike in U.S. key policy rates. Spot gold inched down 0.2% to $1,190 per ounce. U.S. gold futures were lower 0.11% to the mark of $1,189 an ounce. Commodity analyst Rajab Hamid said that gold prices are weakened by the rise of U.S. dollar thanks to speculations that the U.S. Fed is likely to raise interest rates by 100%. Prices are likely to decline towards $1,180, $1,175 per ounce during this week. The European Union desperately needs finance from Britain and will face severe knocks to its economy if member nations do not agree to a transitional period to give banks and finance firms time to adapt to Brexit. The governor of the Bank of England wants a smooth changeover when Britain leaves the EU to give companies time to adapt to the new setup and avoid any wrenching change in the economy or in the financial markets. Mark Carney, the governor of the Bank of England, said banks located in the UK supply over half of debt and equity issuance by continental firms and account for over 3/4 of foreign exchange and derivatives activity in the EU.